This is Country Living E Oregon Style 61. We're going to make some ranch dressing. You know how you buy your packets at the store and then you take it home, you add mayonnaise to it, usually buttermilk. You can get some that you just add milk to. This is the same stuff. The only thing I have found with it, and you can add more salt if you want, is it's not quite as salty as the ranch packets that you buy that is a dry powder. Look at it this way. You got all those preservative stuff in it. There goes more salt. They have to have more salt for preservatives. But this way you can store this in a glass jar, in a Ziploc, even little pickle relish type things, like I have the sage and stuff in. You know, I mean, whatever you want, as long as it's got a tight seal. Let me adjust this just a little bit. Let's see. Maybe that'll work. Okay. Anyway, ranch dressing is what we're making today. And it's got a 1/3 cup of the instant, non-fat, dry milk. And I gotta find my right one here. Excuse me, it's a 1/2 cup. What did I say, a 1/3? I meant a 1/2. Now this doesn't make very much. Whoops, a little over, no biggie. I make more than one batch at a time, and you can make as much as you want. You can triple it, whatever you want to do. If you're like us, we go through a lot of ranch dressing, so for just dipping, salads, whatever. So just as long as it stays dry. You add, when you get this all done and you store it, when you get ready to make it, you add 1 tablespoon, heaping tablespoon of the mix, of the dry mix, to 1 cup of mayonnaise and 1 cup of buttermilk. But you don't have to do buttermilk. When I don't have buttermilk on hand, I use regular milk. I've even used dry powdered milk. I've used canned milk. It doesn't matter as long as you have the cup in there. So this is the dry stuff, and we'll put the rest of the ingredients in. It's 1 teaspoon of dill weed, and again, of course, my dill. No, there is some things I don't grow, so don't be going, you grow everything. No, I don't. It's 2, oh, excuse me, 2, let me see. 1 teaspoon. I'm reading the next line. So, your 1 teaspoon of dill weed. That's what makes it. There's a secret ingredient in this too, and when I get to it, I'll tell you what it is, because it's got to go in there. And you have 2 tablespoons of parsley flakes. Yes, I grow this. And all of these that I have given you, including this recipe, I will put the recipe down below so you can write it down or copy it or whatever you want to do. But by all means, share these recipes. There is no sense in people having to pay the price that the stores want, not when you can make it yourself. We want a teaspoon of onion powder. I would say this is probably about equivalent, a little more, maybe, I don't know. I don't know how many batches it would make, but I know I make more than this. I make a quart jar full when I make it. That was a teaspoon of onion powder. Now this sounds really stupid, but a teaspoon. You gotta be kidding me. A teaspoon? Yep, it is. A teaspoon of onion flakes. That's not very much, but you gotta remember that they do they do, you know, the flavor does expose itself. I'm going to add just a little bit more, as I like the onion flavor in it. And I'll just kind of break it up a little bit. These are onions that I dried. Like I say, you can make all your own dried stuff and make your own seasoning packets. And when you first get started, if you don't have the dried stuff or haven't got started drying things, but yet you have a dehydrator, you don't know where to start, just start drying them. And then you can put all kinds of things together. We'll do some more meals in a jar after I get through with all these seasonings, different types. Because you're going to have seasonings to be able to cook different things. A teaspoon of salt. Where's my salt? Now, that's where if you want to add more, or you can wait and put it on whatever you want. After you mix your dress, you know, like you're making a dip or you're making a dressing out of this. If you're going to make a dip, then I would use just the sour cream, maybe a little bit of mayonnaise in it, not very much. You really don't have to have the milk in it to make a dip. But you know, you can add a little more salt if you want it. But I would make it this way first, taste it. You'd be surprised what the flavor is when there isn't so much salt to cover things up. Half a teaspoon of black pepper. Quarter teaspoon of dill, or no, not dill, excuse me, celery seed. Now here's your secret ingredient. Sounds silly. It did to me when I first made it. You're going, why are you adding, oops, here we go. Why are you adding this? You've got a teaspoon of brown sugar. If you don't know how to make brown sugar, go on the internet, find it. It's easy to make if you run out. All it is sugar and molasses. That's all the ingredients that's in it. There isn't any more. Oops, my arm's in the way. I take a little wire whisk and I mix it all up. Oops, I'm throwing herbs out. Just kind of make sure that brown sugar is kind of broke up into very small pieces. You don't want a big chunk of brown sugar and then it isn't in the next batch that you make. Now, to make this up, to make your regular ranch dressing, you use what did I say, tablespoon of it? I don't measure anything. I'm measuring it for you guys. You put in, let's see, what did it say? A heaping tablespoon, a cup of buttermilk or milk, any kind of milk, and a cup of mayonnaise. I don't measure it when I mix it up for my own. What I do is I put my mayonnaise in, it's because it's just for our own family, and then I turn around and I put the mayonnaise, put the milk in, I put some of this in, and then if I taste it. And if it doesn't taste right to me, I add a little more. Usually I don't have to add more mayonnaise or milk to it. Just the seasoning packet, because it isn't quite ranch tasting, I guess is what I want to say. There you go. There's your rinse. Piece of cake to do. I have faith that every one of you can make it if you sat down and did it. Thank you for watching. You have a good day.